The state of Kerala, viewers, is paying a very heavy price for Onam celebrations. To take you through the numbers that have just been clocked in for the total COVID positive cases in the state, it's a mind-boggling 31,445 fresh caseload. The test positivity rate in the state also jumps to 19%, the highest in recent weeks. This is the highest daily surge in state after the 20th of May. Kerala also registered a huge jump in the toll with 215 fatalities in the last 24 hours alone. The state of Kerala accounts to 64% of India's total daily caseload. The Kerala government has appealed to the citizens to follow all COVID protocol as opposition attacks Vijayan government of failing to keep norms in place. The state reported fewer than 17,000 daily cases towards the end of last week, although the daily caseload prior to that was above 20,000. All right, viewers, there seems to be absolutely no end to the current Punjab crisis the Congress finds itself in. All the truce, all the peace talk, only on paper. The war between the two Sardars still rages on.
Round 2 of the Sidhu versus Amarinder power tussle has gone the captain's way. With just months left for the all-crucial assembly elections in Punjab, the warring Sardars are at it again. After the Congress High Command placated Sidhu the first time around, this time they've said enough is enough. At the centre of it was a meeting between Navjot Singh Sidhu and 31 MLAs, including 4 cabinet ministers.
बहुत सारे वादे कांग्रेस पार्टी ने पूरे कीते हैं, लेकिन ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵਾਅਦਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਰੋਧੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਟਕਰਾਅ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਉਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਖੜੇ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਮੁੱਖ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਸਲੇ ਹੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ, ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੇਂਦਰ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ।
These disgruntled Punjab legislators took the fight to the High Command, who've now set the record straight on who's the captain of the Punjab Congress.
Harish Rawat has not only snubbed the disgruntled ministers but have clearly told them that any demand to replace Captain Amarinder Singh will not be met. He has also told them that the 2022 assembly elections will also be fought under the leadership of Captain Amarinder Singh.
यदि किसी को किसी से कोई नाराजगी है तो नाराजगी कांग्रेस के रास्ते में नहीं आनी चाहिए। कांग्रेस के रास्ते में नहीं आनी चाहिए। कांग्रेस के लिए बहुत आवश्यक है कि वो मिल करके चुनाव लड़े पंजाब में।
The Amarinder camp, meanwhile, has also sent across a stern message to the rebels.
आज मंत्रियों को दिक्कत आ रही है 4.5 साल बाद, तो अपने पद से इस्तीफा देकर बाहर निकल जाना चाहिए खुद ही, क्योंकि जिसके ऊपर सवाल उठा रहे हो उसी ने 4.5 साल काम कर दिखाए हैं।
Amarinder Singh's wife Praneeth Kaur also hasn't minced words. Wading into the controversy, she's lashed out at Sidhu, squarely blaming him for the leadership crisis in Punjab.
He is the one who started. It's his advisors. Once the decision had been taken by the High Command, Sidhu was coming, CM said, yes, it's the Congress president's decision. I abide by it. So they should also fall into line. This is not a time to rake up all these things. You rake them up at the party platform and go ahead. We want a united Congress to fight the election.
For now, the Congress High Command has categorically stated that they will not tolerate any rebellion against Captain Amarinder Singh. But will the Sidhu camp agree to work under the Chief Minister's leadership in the run-up to this election? With Manjeet Sehgal in Chandigarh, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's take you now to the state of Maharashtra, and it's come to a head between Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray and Narayan Rane. Hours after him getting bail after he was arrested, Narayan Rane remains defiant. His remarks against the Chief Minister, saying he didn't say anything wrong. Rane alleges that fake cases were filed against him. The BJP leader also accused Shiv Sena of using derogatory language and threatening to beat UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath with slippers. But trouble doesn't seem to end for the minister, as Nasik police has summoned him to appear before it on the 2nd of September in the same case. The Mumbai cops have registered a total of 42 FIRs in connection with Rane's Jan Ashirwad Yatra speech targeting Uddhav. Rane is set to move Bombay High Court to quash the FIRs. All right, viewers, as the takeover of Afghanistan is pretty much complete by the Taliban, all eyes right now are on the Panjshir Valley. Resistance still rages there. This is our crime report.
The land of 5 lions. The land never conquered by invaders. The land of Ahmad Shah Massoud, the legendary Tajik warlord. The land where Amrullah Saleh and Ahmad Massoud lead the resistance against Taliban. India Today reports from Ground Zero, Panjshir.
This is Afghanistan Panjshir province, a province that the Taliban have not yet been able to seize, and the popular resistance force led by Ahmad Massoud are monitoring any Taliban movement.
Tucked away in the mighty Hindu Kush mountains, the terrain of Panjshir Valley makes it a virtually impregnable fortress. High mountains, narrow valley, and the protection provided by the Panjshir River. All roads leading to Panjshir are dominated by fiercely patriotic Tajik fighters who've grown up on the legend of Ahmad Shah Massoud, the fierce Northern Alliance commander who successfully stood up first to the Soviets in the 1980s and then the Taliban in the 1990s till 2001. The commanders today have been brought up on stories of valor of the Tajik warriors who stood up to the Soviets and the Taliban. The folklore has it that even Alexander the Great could not conquer Panjshir by force.
Most of those who have joined the Popular Resistance Front are young people, soldiers and former jihadi commanders who do not accept captivity and want a comprehensive and acceptable system for all. We have all the facilities for war and military, and we are ready against the Taliban from any gate, peace or war.
The Tajiks are unwilling to submit to Pakistan-backed Taliban. Several Afghanistan National Army soldiers have also reached Panjshir to join the resistance.
We have not achieved our goals in the Afghan army. Now we want to defend our homeland and freedom by joining the ranks of the Popular Resistance Front.
The Taliban initially are learned to have mounted an operation to attempt and overwhelm the Tajik fighters guarding the routes to Panjshir. Leading the resistance, Afghanistan's caretaker President Amrullah Saleh, speaking exclusively to India Today from Panjshir, denied reports that Taliban had captured parts of the valley.
The Taliban claim that they have got the part of Panjshir is completely false. We are in control. The morale of the people is very high. We have been able to build consensus amongst the community who have unanimously stood up saying they are not ready to sell the soul of the resistance and bow to the Taliban. We have organized, we have managed, and we are ready both for meaningful negotiation.
But the Taliban are slowly surrounding the valley. Groups of armed fighters are blocking all approach roads towards the valley. In Parwan, India Today spoke to a local Taliban commander guarding an access to Panjshir.
Panjshir
Whenever an order is given to fight and occupy Panjshir, we will enter Panjshir within a day. But Mullah Hibatullah has not yet ordered this. We are not extremists. We do whatever Islam says.
The Taliban claim negotiations are underway and a Taliban delegation is in Panjshir to hold talks with the resistance leadership. The fighters are clearly taking no chances.
The resistance fighters are watching the Taliban closely. It is not their words, but their actions are being watched. The resistance wants rights of Afghans to be protected, not Talibanization of Afghanistan. Reporting from Ground Zero in Panjshir, this is Ahmed Navid Kawesh, India Today.
All right, viewers, let's now get you a sense of the kind of weapons that the Taliban are actually using. Pretty much the same that have been used over the last 2 decades to keep them away, to defeat them.
5 lakh M16 assault rifles. 5 lakh M4 battlefield carbines. Thousands of US light machine guns. Just part of a huge haul of US weapons now in Taliban hands, and which top Indian defense officials believe will eventually impact Indian security. According to a detailed Indian intelligence assessment, American weapons captured by the Taliban from the Afghan army are likely to create havoc in Pakistan first before they are attempted to be smuggled into India. The Pakistan army and the terrorist groups supported by it now stand to receive a steady supply of these advanced modern American weapons directly from the Taliban. In other words, the Taliban's takeover is good news for Pak-sponsored terror directly pointed at India. It is most likely that the weapons will first be used for violence within Pakistan itself before they reach India, top sources tell India Today. Apart from enormous stocks of M16 and M4 rifles and light machine guns, the haul also includes a huge number of sniper rifles along with steel core bullets, bulletproof jackets and armor-piercing rounds. But it isn't just American firearms that are likely to flow into Pakistani hands. Inputs suggest that Pakistan will also likely get some of the over 2,000 US armored vehicles, including Humvees, in Taliban hands. Probably most significantly though, Pakistan and its terror groups could also get access to 40 aircraft, including UH-60 Black Hawks, MD-530 light armed scout helicopters, and even possibly Scan Eagle surveillance drones. To summarize, American assault rifles, battle carbines, sniper rifles, light machine guns, Humvees, helicopters and drones in the possession of the Taliban will almost definitely fall into Pakistani hands and used against India, either directly or through terror groups. Each of these weapons is far superior to anything Pakistan or its terror groups currently uses. While it's true that bigger military equipment like Humvees and choppers are likely to be traced if used by Taliban or the Pakistan army, smaller firearms can be easily used outside Afghanistan. Sources in the Indian army say security forces in the Kashmir Valley are fully prepared to tackle any influx of these weapons.
The counter-infiltration and counter-terrorist grid is very robust and would be able to tackle any such approach by the Pakistan army or the terrorists backed by it. Sources said that if the Pakistan army tries to cushion the Afghan Taliban into the Indian areas, they would be dealt in the same way they were dealt with in the 90s.
If you've been wondering about the fallout of the world's biggest crisis on India, this is the spearhead and what our soldiers will eventually face. With Manjeet Singh Negi in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, I'm going to go into a quick break. To stay tuned. On the other side is our fact check segment. Welcome back, viewers. You're watching our fact check segment where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there was an image which seemed to suggest that an Afghan woman was put up in chains by the Taliban. The fact check on that is false. This viral image is from a 2011 Muharram procession, nothing to do with Afghanistan or the Taliban. With that quick fact check, time for us to go into a quick break. To stay with us. On the other side is To The Point.